Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the September 19, 2017 business meeting of the Council of the Borough of Ringwood. This meeting is being broadcast live and will be replayed on Channel 77 throughout the week. Kelly, statement of compliance, please.
Adequate notice of this business meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Law, PL 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this business meeting by Consent Agenda Resolution 2017-12, adopted January 5, 2017, through a legal notice published in the Suburban Trends issue of January 15, 2017, and through notices faxed to the following named newspapers and posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall on January 2, 2017. The Suburban Trends, the Bergen Record, and WGHT. At this time, please silence all electronic devices during the meeting.
Thank you, Kelly. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Here.
Council members Davison.
Here.
Marsala.
Here.
Noonan.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Also present, Borough Manager, Director, Department of Public Works, Scott Heck, Deputy Borough Manager, Borough Clerk, Kelly Halowitz, and Borough Attorney, Richard Klemak. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing after the pledge for a brief moment of silence commemorating 9/11.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First on the agenda this evening, proclamations and presentations. We have a couple. This proclamation is in honor of Patriot Day. Whereas on the 16th anniversary of the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, we pause to honor and remember the nearly 3,000 innocent victims, including Vincent Boland Jr. and Christian D. Simone of Ringwood. We continue to comfort the families of the victims and share in the memories of their loved ones, as well as honor the thousands of Americans, firefighters, police officers, EMS responders, military personnel, and construction workers whose selfless acts of bravery and heroism saved thousands of lives that day. And whereas we are so grateful to our law enforcement community and our armed forces for their tremendous sacrifices to protect us at home and abroad since the terrorist attacks. And whereas the events of that day united us as Americans to show the world the power of our strength and resolve to overcome unspeakable evil. And whereas, just as we did on September 11, 2001, we continue to display today and every day the patriotism that defines us as New Jerseyans and as Americans. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mayor John Spear, and the Borough Council hereby declare September 11, 2017 as Patriot Day in the Borough of Ringwood, and ask residents to observe the day with appropriate services and activities with their family. I also have another proclamation on National Preparedness Month. Whereas in times of emergency, neighbors support each other, communities react with compassion, and afterward we emerge stronger and more resilient. And whereas before emergencies occur, we should make sure that we are ready to respond, and it is everyone's responsibility to be prepared. And whereas National Preparedness Month is an opportunity to once again remind our residents about what they need to do in case of an emergency, as well as take this time to extend our sincerest gratitude to first responders who selflessly run toward danger to keep our borough and its people safe. And whereas residents should be aware of local weather threats and hazards and take steps to reduce their impact, families should assemble a disaster supply kit well in advance and have a plan to reconnect should they be separated. There is information available to assist residents in preparing an emergency, such as www.ready.gov. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, John Spear, Mayor of the Borough of Ringwood, on behalf of the Municipal Council, proclaim September 17, 2017 as National Preparedness Month in the Borough of Ringwood, and encourage all residents to recognize the importance of preparedness to protect themselves in case of an emergency. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes.
Need a motion to approve the August 15, 2017 business meeting minutes. All were present.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Council members Davison.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yep.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is general public portion. At this time, anyone from the public wishing to address the mayor and council, please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to keep your comments relatively short. concise.
3 minutes, right?
Pithy.
Good evening, Kathy O'Keefe, 148 Cupso Avenue. I think my voice is going. I'll try to get through this. So this past Saturday, September 16th, we held the Sustainability Summit at the local library, and I want to thank Mayor Spear for stopping by. We're happy to report that the event was a success. We had a good turnout, and the participants expressed great interest in all that Sustainable Jersey has to offer. Our speakers shared their knowledge and expertise. We had Kimberly Hoff from the Board of Public Utilities. She spoke about the New Jersey Clean Energy Program, which offers a lot of incentives to homeowners and businesses to get their homes and businesses energy efficient. There's incentives and loans at 0% interest. We've donated all of this material to the local library, so any resident that's interested can go down and look it up. We also had Principal, I think I have my notes out of order. Yes, we had Principal Loeffler come, and we were honored also to have Dr. Nicholas Bernice, the superintendent of Ringwood Schools, in attendance. I'm sure he was inspired, as the rest of the audience was, by Theodore Loeffler's presentation on his green dreams and how his school system has become a pioneer in the Sustainable School Initiative. His district came in second to our neighbors in Wanacue. Wanacue received a grant of $30,000 for a new playground for their school. Principal Loeffler is confident that next year he'll take home this prize. I say we need to get Ringwood Schools involved so that we can be the recipients of these great opportunities. Other towns have also received generous grants from sustainability to address issues in their communities. Kelly, I want to thank you for sending me information on our green team and our sustainable things right here in Ringwood, New Jersey. It seems the council made a motion back in May of 2010 that the Borough of Ringwood strives to save tax dollars, assure clean air and water, improve working and living environments, to build a community that is sustainable, economically, environmentally, and socially a community that will thrive well into the future. I also had some additional questions for you, Kelly, if you have them today. If not, you can get them back to me. Such as, when does the municipal green team meet? Okay. Is it a monthly meeting? Is the public invited to attend the green team meetings?
Okay, I can, if you want me to answer.
Yeah,
Or you want me to wait?
you wanna just like, give all the questions along that line of that subject, and then Kelly can,
I think I emailed them to her in advance, but we can wait on this if we need to. In addition, I would like to make a suggestion that the Green Team include members from the Tri-Lake Environmental Committee. The lakes could definitely use the support of the municipality. They have lots of projects that they'd like to get underway, and there is grant money available through Sustainable Jersey if they are part of the Municipal Green Team and work with them. Also, it might be good to have a representative from the DPW join the Green Team. Recently, there was a project on Skyline Drive where they planted grass. I know all Ringwood residents appreciate the effort to make the Skyline corridor better and nicer to look at. However, runoff from fertilizer, if you had checked with the Green Team, is detrimental to the health of our lakes. If they had been involved, they might have come up with a better alternative, such as a rain garden, because it could have also been done as a school project or a scout project like they did at Cupso Lake, and would have earned us points towards certification. Doing that way would have saved the town money on paying the DPW, reduced our carbon footprint, since now we have to mow that lawn, and helped us to conserve water, since we had to install a sprinkler system. I know the effort was well-intentioned, but working with the Green Team, we might come back with better alternatives, and it would be good for the community to see how beautiful rain gardens are, and they could do it in their own backyards when they live on lakes. Let's see. In fact, during this event, we learned that all of the effort that we did on Saturday could be submitted to the Green Team to earn points towards certification. So we'd like to work with you to submit all the necessary documentation for the town to qualify. It was 8 years ago that this borough said that they were committed to building a more sustainable community. But up to this time, we haven't accumulated any points, to my knowledge, and we haven't been certified as bronze, much less silver. So, isn't it time that we all join together to help the borough achieve its goal? And just a reminder, if any residents are seeking additional information that we covered tonight, it is available at the local library. And I have also pulled out information to share about how the secrets to building a successful green team. So I'll just leave that with Kelly and look forward to your answers. Thank you.
Kelly, you'll be able to get back to Ms. O'Keefe's,
Yeah.
your least convenience? Thank you.
Sure.
Paul Rubacki, 99 Edward Drive. I just wanted to acknowledge, let everybody know that right before school started, there were a group of parents who built a new playground at Peter Cooper School. They spent the whole weekend there. It was a pretty hot weekend, but you know, it's a great example of this community coming together. They put together something that was really a lot better, a lot more functional, and you know, it improved Ringwood. So I just thought it'd be nice to get up there and mention these people. You know, really did a good job.
They did a wonderful job, and it was just back to school night, and they were applauded for their efforts. And I'm on the PTO as well, and we worked really hard to fundraise. That money was all from fundraising and just parents doing readathons and just really pounding the pavement to be able to provide that for our children. So that's really nice that you mentioned that.
I just want to mention that there's a lot of great projects and a lot of volunteerism going on in this community, even at the Weiss Ecology Center. The things that we're doing can get our certification, can give us points, can get our town recognized. And that's the goal, is to get more money for the town. I have no doubt that everybody in this community would pull together. In fact, Principal Loeffler said when he unveiled his program, the schools, the parents, and the children were so excited that he couldn't keep up with the initiatives that they brought to him to certify their town. Thank you.
Robin Canetti, 310 Lakeview Avenue. Just to follow up Mrs. O'Keefe, which had nothing to do with what I was going to say, we used to have a rain garden at the library. These guys pulled it out. It was pretty nice. But what I'm here to discuss is Mr. Marsala posted an incredibly interesting comment on Ringwood Voices about the Ringwood Facts website, which is a product of the $25,000 PR firm you guys hired. Now here's a guy who has complained about fake news on Facebook, spreading his own fake news. He claims that the site paid for to promote, in my opinion, the very bad decision the council is making regarding leaving toxic waste in our town. He claimed that it contained every fact about the Superfund site. The word every actually means something. It means that every single thing is included. In this case, even if everything on it is true, which is debatable, it's still missing many documents that don't support the tale you're spinning. They or you selected a handful of documents, omitting possibly hundreds that the CAG received over the years, and you have links back to May 2013. Ringwood was listed the first time in the 80s, relisted over 10 years ago, and the CAG's been meeting for a dozen years. So, for an example, where are the documents from the technical advisors who represented the CAG, presented pages and pages of documentation as to why they recommended a full cleanup? Just last week, we had a presentation by Dr. Alec Gates, a renowned Rutgers professor and geologist who has spent a good part of his life's work studying the Highlands. In his expert opinion, the fractured bedrock of this area continues to form fractures, making it impossible to fully contain toxic waste with a cap, since that doesn't stop the water flowing below, which the CAG's been saying for years. What's particularly concerning is that he also said that the Highlands is at the epicenter of earthquakes in the area, and new fractures develop with every earthquake, which also changes the water patterns. Is his information on the website? The The truth is, partial facts mislead, and this incomplete site is designed to be misleading at the taxpayer's expense. Oh yeah, and Mr. Marsala also called me rude and indecent, not for the first time, which is an interesting way to respond to the opinion of a resident. I didn't call anyone names. I don't think name calling is appropriate. I just commented on the website. But if I did play the way Mr. Marsala does, the words dishonest and nasty come to mind. Ringwood deserves better from its elected officials, and I know that after the public portion, you're going to say nasty personal things about me again. I may not stick around for that. But again, Ringwood deserves better. Thank you.
Does she know when I move to close public?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay. Just a brief comment about every document. I don't even know if that's possible. There were a lot of interim documents that were produced during the studies that started back in 2005, 2006, that aren't on the EPA's website. They only divide it into their administrative record, which are documents that they refer to in their record of decision, which is really where we need to focus. This is how the EPA came to their decision, and their decision is what we're basing our actions upon. So I don't know if every document will ever be on any website, would ever be able to contain all the documents that were generated as part of this study. Yeah, that's probably just, I don't want to carry Facebook arguments into a public forum. It's just a terror. Facebook is a horrendous place to have a serious conversation about anything, and I really don't want to have any spillover. But that's all. I'll avoid the name calling. If there's no other comments,
Couple brief,
Mr. Heck, do you have something you want to
yeah, a couple things
respond
quick.
to, or-
Skyline Drive, we've talked about this, the grass and the plants that were planted there. Yeah, fertilizers and so forth are bad for our lakes, but so is silt, so is the garbage that gets stuck in all the weeds, and so is stuff that's not easily maintained. And part of the problem we had there was the road ran through the dirt and washed the silt down into the storm drain. And we take our storm drain management very seriously, our stormwater management program. And we clean all of our drains, and to continually cleaning out a drain from water rushing down Skyline Drive because it doesn't stay on the road is not the example of what's really good. So you have to balance the needs of both, and I think siltation in a lake is, and Jim could probably tell us, he's on a lake committee. Certainly siltation in a lake is a problem. There's all types of fertilizers and whatnot that you can use that are natural in nature, but runoff is a big problem. We didn't have a rain garden at the library. A rain garden is something that recharges the environment. What we had there was a lot of plants that were planted in a wet area that did not survive because it was way too wet for the type of plants that were in existence. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I have a few years of experience in the horticultural area.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, there being no old business, we'll move into new business, introduction by title of ordinances.
Yes,
Counselor?
Mr. Mayor, we have ordinance 2017-07. If I could have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, we don't have to read by
Mayor-
title?
Yep, Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay, an ordinance amending Chapter 40 zoning regulations, various sections in Schedule 5 to amend and add language for portable freestanding and A-frame signs in certain areas.
Yeah, Ms.
Yeah, back in I think October and November, we did the first phase of our commercial sign ordinance change
Of last year.
I think it was effective in December of 7th, and at that point we said we're going to look at the freestanding signs and see what we can do to try and amend the sign ordinance Mike and I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the best solution is and how we can add some sign ordinances that would make sense. So we came up with this from a couple other communities, and essentially what this does is allow you to add signs in the commercial district within 10 feet of your front door, as long as it's in front of your building, a freestanding sign that you can leave out there if you want for 24/7, as long as it doesn't impede traffic, it doesn't impede walkway, and you have so much distances available. And I think what this does is it gives people the opportunity to change it. There's no permits involved with it. It's something that they can put out there kind of at will. And also, the other thing that we changed in here is, right now, we have no provisions for grand openings. Technically, our ordinance doesn't allow it. Any business that comes into town needs to have some public awareness and needs to have some ability to be able to say, there's a new business and there's some activity going on here. So he changed he made a suggestion to allow for some of these banners and so forth to happen over a 30-day period. We looked at the communities around us, quite a few communities in the area, and they generally have anywhere from 7 to 30 days for that grand opening type of event. So he included in here the 30-day for the grand opening. So this is just another phase of the sign ordinance change that I think the last one we did allowed all the businesses to have a freestanding sign on their building. Before, it was only in certain zones. We kept having people go before the Board of Adjustment. So based upon that, Mike came to me and said, Scott, we should probably change this so that because they go to the Board of Adjustment and they get approved. So why don't we just change it so that they don't have to go to the Board of Adjustment? So that's what the last year was. This is the next phase of that sign ordinance. And this is something that when we met with the chamber, I think you were with me as well, Mayor. This is something that we talked about making the changes, and this is the introduction of that ordinance.
Okay, just for the, certain signs nevertheless are prohibited, as you've seen those big balloons and pennants, et cetera, water-filled, water-soluble materials, et cetera. Those more obnoxious ones you see are not permitted under this ordinance. Now, this ordinance, if introduced, will then go to the planning board, okay? So it'll be, the planning board will hear it and offer comments, and of course, you'll have a second hearing and a second reading and a public hearing on it to get public comments, okay? So I'll recite a resolution.
Is that going to be on November 28th?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, the reason for the extra month will be this planning board has 35 days to take action and submit a report to the council. Okay, resolve that ordinance 2017-07 is read by title, being it hereby introduced with second reading on November 28, 2017 at 8 p.m. at the municipal building. The borough clerk is directed to publish a copy of the said ordinance in the official newspaper of the municipality. This copy, the clerks of the adjacent municipalities and county planning board and submit a copy to the planning board for their approval. As I said, second reading will be on the 28th at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard.
Very good.
So
Do we
moved.
have a motion?
Second.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, I think this is sorely needed. It's been talked about for a while. Business owners have been talking about it. The biggest complaint was the grand opening signs, and be able to have some sort of a, pitched sign in front of their building. The only other question is signs on buildings, like up by, what's the restaurant?
Arda?
Artist. There's a building up there that houses a photography studio.
Yes.
And all that. And I think it's going on almost 2 years to get approval for.
That's the
sign.
ordinance change that we did in December of last year. So that district is now allowed to do the same thing as all the other districts. Same thing with the Krausers area, and all the commercial districts are allowed to have a freestanding sign on there, attached to the building for their business. So that's the issue that we resolved back in November of last year.
Okay.
Scott, I have a question. It was posed to me by a couple of businesses in town. Signage, what's the ordinance in regard to signage for business but not on their property, on public property? Let's say down by the reservoir. I know
They're not.
can't do it, but.
Yeah, they're not allowed to have signage, off-site signage. We have one building that does have an off-site signage. It was approved by the county, because it's in the county right away. They were quite a bit back from that, but that's not something that's allowed. If they do have a sign adjacent to their property in the borough right away or in the county right away, the county has to approve that.
Okay,
So,
okay.
I mean, so it is possible, but it's not as simple as just coming to the building department and getting a
No,
permit.
it's good information I could pass along.
Yeah. Yep.
Is this, the signs only for grand openings, or if they're gonna have a sale, say? they can put out-
The 30-day sign for the streamers or whatever it is that they're allowed to do is for like grand openings and that type of thing. The sandwich board signs, very similar to what you see out there for like the ambulance corps or whatnot.
Right.
No, that's for whatever it is that they want to put on that, provided it's appropriate. Obviously, there's some guidelines in there as to what they can and can't do. Obviously, we don't want anything inappropriate, but no, that's unlimited.
We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Take a roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Thank you all. Next order of business, resolutions. Mr. Heck?
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2017-195, whereas the Chief Financial Officer has certified the funds are available for the payment in the current bill list in the amount of $521,303.39. Supplemental payments in the amount of $6,837,750.09. Merchant services fees in the amount of $163 to be listed to the following accounts for a total of $7,359,225.48. Of which the Ringwood Board of Education, $2,208,763. Lakeland High School, $858,710. And Passaic County, $2,945,130.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Is there any way we can have somebody from?
I wanted to choke that word back as soon as I said it.
Director of Finance or something from Passaic come up here and talk to us about the amount of money we're sending down there, down in Passaic? What is?
And what's done,
About-
what do we get for it?
904
We can talk to our
every
freeholders.
month or so.
Yeah. No.
I mean, no, some of the freeholders aren't gonna be able to explain it. Okay, but somebody from, that works with the budget and something from Passaic County, how does the Ringwood share get calculated?
Yeah, we could certainly ask them, because you're talking about percentages and why it goes up and down in some communities, and it's based upon ratables and whatnot. But yeah, we could certainly ask somebody to, if they could attend either a budget meeting or a, because it's that budget time of the year. So I'll call and ask them.
Okay, we're not filling the jails. We get maybe one broken snowplow truck up here during the winter time.
Well, I will say that the county, I'm going to be honest, the county has been, relatively responsive on things that we've asked for. And when we asked them to come about the bridge, they sent their engineer up, and, the county trucks have been much better about plowing and things up here, and, so we're going to talk a little bit later about some things that we talked to the county about. Kelly and I had a meeting last week, so yeah, but I'll certainly ask.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
2017-196, be it resolved, the Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby approves the submission of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Division of Local Government Services Best Practice Inventory for 2017 as prepared by the Chief Financial Officer and subject to the review of myself and Ms. Hallowitz.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
2017-197, whereas a professional services contract was awarded to H2M Associates on May 12, 2015 for the rehabilitation of the 792 Skyline Drive water tank project, contract number 2015-102, in the amount of $174,100 for property survey, present condition evaluation, design, permitting, construction supervision, and construction inspection for the project. And whereas H2M has submitted and the borough engineer concurs with and recommends the payment in the amount of $25,809.03, invoice number 134819. Now therefore be it resolved, the municipal council of the borough of Ringwood hereby approves the payment to H2M Associates of Halbrook Road of Melville, New York.
So moved.
Second.
Just close them out.
Well, it's going to close them out, except for that we have, we're doing some of the lead abatement.
that lead abatement,
and that
yeah.
kind of thing. So that project, they're going to still do we retained them to inspect all
Finish that
that
out.
and make that finished up. So, but all the other, we just did some more changes to the communication and the pump station. You know, we're getting everything in unison, and it's worked out very well. And keep in mind that all the project was significantly under budget, even though that it seems like every month we get a work order, a purchase order, but the project was significantly under what we anticipated.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yep.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
So when was this all be put to bed?
They're starting the soils now, and then after that's all completed, and they'll be putting the fence back up, and then it'll be totally done. It's all external now. It's all land work. There's no more tank work.
There's no-
Unless something comes up that, you know, obviously we're not aware of, but the actual tank project and the water system project aspect of it has been closed out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, next, 198.
2017-198, whereas a contract was awarded to Robert H. Rapp on August 7th in the amount of $12,200 to pave Kingsley Road, Hope intersection, contract number 2017-12, whereas the borough engineer has submitted and recommends payment in that amount. Invoice number 3 dated August 18th, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the municipal council, the Borough of Ringwood, hereby approves the payment of $12,200 to Robert H. Rapp of Haskell, New Jersey.
I'll move it. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yep.
Noonan. Schaefer.
Yes.
Resolution 2017-199, whereas a contract was awarded to Tilcon, New York, Inc., using the Morris County Co-op for the 2017 road program, contract number 2017-1, and whereas the Chief Financial Officer has certified that funds are available for the contract 2017-1 in the amount of $342,034.23 from the line items listed, and I guess I'll list the items, C0455-803-903, $148,000, and from C0455-804-903, $193,545.10. Now therefore be it resolved, the municipal council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby approves payment in the amount of $342,034.23 for the work completed and recommended by the borough engineer to Tilcon, New York, of Parsippany, New Jersey, and be it resolved that this is also subject to, they've already received the required certified payroll records and the monthly manning reports.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yep.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
You'll notice that in the resolutions, it now breaks down what account number we physically take the funding out of, so that just another transparency effort that you can see, you can go to that account number and you know exactly where the money came from. Resolution 2017-200. This is, I'm sorry.
This is the,
Every year we get a DOT grant, and what this resolution does is we amend the budget because the award of the grant comes in after the budget is done. So what this does is this is almost like a Chapter 159, Mr. Klimek, where
It is.
we're inserting this into the budget, and this is the exact amount of the road
For
program.
the record, how much is it?
For the record, it's $250,000 for the Cupsaw Drive road program.
That's a grant from DOT, correct?
It's a grant from the DOT. We received a letter a long time ago, but we do get the formal letter so that we do a resolution to amend the budget.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yes.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
And that's something that happens typically every year, so. 2017-201, this is a approval to submit a grant application to execute a grant contract with New Jersey DOT. This is the same grant that we did for other parts of town, but whether it was Westbrook Road, whether, I think we've used it in Skyline, we used it for doing Cupsaw Drive, all the way around Cupsaw Drive. I think all 7 phases or 8 phases were part of DOT grants. We are applying for Erskine Road up and through to the Erskine area at this point, and that's what this next grant is for. So this is approval to submit a grant application to execute a grant contract with New Jersey DOT for Erskine Road, Lakeview Avenue, with drainage and obviously pavement.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
When
Roll.
is this gonna?
We're just applying for it, so this will be next year's program. So I think we applied for 390,000, I think. Yeah, $390,665.
Your commute to work is going to stink next summer.
Probably next fall, because we don't usually get them till this
You
time
don't,
of the
yeah,
year.
don't come till after the school bus is fine. Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, 2017-202, be it resolved, the Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby authorizes the purchase and payment of a John Deere 60G excavator in the amount of $65,849.20 from Jesco of South Plainfield, New Jersey. Be it further resolved, the Chief Financial Officer has certified that funds are available to purchase this excavator in the amount of $65,849.20, coming out of the listed accounts for the same total.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
What's the
Is this
two
for-
things, 50,000?
It's 50,000 of the 65, this is the new resolution where 50,000 is coming out of that line item and $15,849 is coming out of the other line item.
What's the NJPA discount?
It's a New Jersey purchasing, it's like a co-op.
Like co-op? Okay.
It's a significant reduction.
25 grand right there.
Yeah, it's a lot, right?
Saved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money
Sticks
when
out.
you go through those programs, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're both capital improvement accounts for drainage.
And is this replacing or adding?
This is an additional one, yes, this is the second. The one we have has, it didn't have much of a trade-in value, so we're just gonna keep it. We'll keep it for water main breaks. We'll put it on the south side of town in the BD lane, and we'll keep the other one up here. It probably has limited life left.
It'll break at the worst possible moment.
Well, this machine is one step larger. You'll be able to lift.
Not this guy. This guy should be all right.
You'll be able to lift the catch basin. Before, we had to bring another machine over there to lift the catch basins in when you're doing drainage. So this
Very
made more
good.
sense.
Okay. We have a motion and second?
Yes, we do.
We'll take a roll call.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison?
Yes.
Landis?
Yes.
Marsala?
Yep.
Noonan?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Kelly, I think this one is in your bailiwick,
I'm
right?
gonna yield right to Kelly.
Yes.
You want me to read it?
No, I just want you to explain it.
Summarize
and then-
Okay.
Yes, you can summarize.
This is a resolution in opposition to the legislative proposals regarding the Open Public Meetings Act and the Open Public Records Act. Basically, there's 4 bills, 2 in the Senate and 2 in the Assembly. The Senate ones with Senator Weinberg. The clerks have been at the table with her to try to make amendments. Some amendments have been made, but besides the clerks, there are other legislative people as well as the league who cannot support the bill as it stands. A lot of what they're trying to do will impose more restrictions and more bureaucracy. There's more. They haven't given us any money to fund what they did before, and now they want to add to it. So I just feel like we need to support it because this is another unfunded mandate for us to do things that they themselves have exempted themselves from. Mr. Klimek, do you have any other, because I know you did it.
So unfunded mandate is when the state legislature passes a law and says municipalities, you must do this at your expense, okay? So it's easy just to pass that financial burden on. I think what Kelly's explaining, if every fact finder in the borough, or in any municipality throughout the state of New Jersey, any committee, the council committee of 2 people were to meet with somebody to obtain information, they would have to have minutes of that meeting for approval. They would have to have the clerk at that meeting, or the clerk's representatives. So you'd have that extra cost. So if you're meeting with some citizens, that could impede the free flow of information. You're just trying to get information. It's not that you have executive power. You make no decisions. You just report back. You're just a fact finder. So the Municipal Clerks Association of New Jersey and many other, and I think other groups, while not opposing the Open Public Records Act, are just opposing this particular feature of the act because it will be a substantial extra burden on municipal finances, which are strained and stressed or not. There is a law in New Jersey, not always enforced, which says that if the legislature passes a bill that puts a burden on the municipalities, extra costs, that the legislature is supposed to come up with the money. They're supposed to pass the revenue bill. That doesn't often happen. Okay? There is a state agency that you could appeal to, but it's pretty difficult to persuade the state agency to go against the state legislature.
They didn't fund that. They didn't fund that state agency, Dick.
Or if they want their funding, they're not gonna go against
All
them.
right. So, as I said, as Kelly said, she would be on the forefront of the whole thing.
Yes.
And I think she's analyzed it, and her fellow clerks have analyzed it quite correctly.
I will tell you that we put $20,000, I think $20,000 in the budget for Oprah requests this year because it's a very real cost of taking people away from what they ordinarily do to do some of these activities. So, so it is a cost to us already, and to complicate, to make that more burdensome would be problematic. It would certainly impact Kelly's department because she doesn't have many people in there.
So moved, Kelly, you got it.
Thanks.
Second.
Second. And roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yes.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
I didn't
Okay.
bring the bills with me.
Okay, next on the agenda is the consent agenda resolutions.
Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Ringwood has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, and whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Ringwood is not desirous of removing any resolution for individual action from that agenda. Now therefore be it resolved, the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. 2017-204, approval of consent. 2017-205, approval of payroll and payroll transfers for August. 2017-206, refund escrow, planning board, block 924, lot 7. 2017-207, authorized refund, state tax court appeal, block 310, lot 1.03. And 2017-208 is the authorized redemption tax sale certificate various.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone wish to remove any items? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yes.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
And moving right along into the manager's report.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Before, can I jump in real quick? Before you give your report, I know I was late and I wanted to bring a couple things up really quick, and you might touch upon them in your report, I'm not sure. One of the things I was wondering was if you can review the water testing for the public. I also was wondering if you.
Hold on.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay,
And I had taken some notes before, so.
okay.
So again, reviewing the water testing for the public. And can you update us on the meeting you had with the county planner about the bike lanes that we had discussed? So I was just wondering if
Sure.
you can update everybody.
The walkable, bikeable, that's something that, we'll take that one first.
Okay.
Kelly and I met with, we've reached out to the Passaic County Planning Board, not Planning Board, Planning Department about walkable, bikeable, and what we can do to try and, as we all know, we see these bikes going around Ringwood Lake Turnpike, and how can we, A, make them safe, and B, how do we get those bikes up to the Skyline Drive corridor so they stop? And there's some areas on Ringwood Lake Turnpike that is rather unsafe. As you know, I'm a biker, and I bike quite a ways a day, and I'm amazed that no one's gotten hurt badly in those circumstances. So we reached out, and Kelly and I met with them last week. We talked about our, Kelly, is the walkable, bikeable plan you've been working on for, I don't know, 6-7 years, something along those lines.
Yeah, that was a collaboration of our engineer, our former chief of police, and other professionals, including the county, who put this plan together based on public input. We had a public meeting where the RBA group who put the plan together for us went through a bunch of different scenarios, gave some facts, and then we broke up into groups and wrote down literally on boards, and it's in the plan, the things that people wanted to see here in Ringwood. Granted, the report is a little bit, it's from 2009, but in rereading it before the meeting that we had, it really still applies, and, you know, we can move forward. And I think that the meeting we had with the county was very good because they're ready to go. They want to go, and they gave us some areas that we can concentrate on, and Scott and I have to put some stuff together, but the Skyline Corridor was
Yeah, the Skyline, one of our
easy.
focus, the easiest part is the Skyline Drive corridor right away. We know that we can get the folks from Skyline through the Buena Vista and Alta Vista area into the commercial district. Erskine is not as easy. Cupsaw can go through Erskine, and then you get to Erskine, and the bottleneck is at the traffic light. We talked to them about maybe putting a pedestrian bridge or something over that one culverts that's there. Once we're beyond that part, we can, you know, we have land where we can put different lanes in and put different walkways and so forth in. It was a very positive meeting, I felt. He was excited about it. We've been trying to meet for the last 3 months, I think. And they have some funding that's available already, and we're going to look into that. I asked them for all the maps for Greenwood Lake Turnpike, because they've done some studies. We've been participating in and I'm going to call it the wrong name, but I think it's the railroad or railways bike.
Rail trail.
Rail trail through all the counties for the last, 2 years or so. We go to all those meetings. Wanacue has not been all that enthralled with it, but we believe that it's certainly in our best interest. It's certainly in the county's best interest, and I think Wanacue will eventually come along. We know Bloomingdale's very involved, and Pompton's very involved, and we think it's positive, and it kind of builds on what the Chamber's doing with their maps and their hiking trails and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what it was a very productive meeting, I think, and I know that you've wanted me to do that a lot sooner than that, but that's as soon as I get the meeting together. I think it's something that's going to yield some positive.
Can I just ask a question?
Wanacue does have a tough lift, though.
We've been looking at this for a while, because I remember way back when, Kelly, didn't you put in for grants?
Applied for a grant like
something?
12 or 13?
Yeah.
So this goes back a while, right?
It does, and unfortunately, we didn't get that grant, and we talked about that at the meeting, because the county endorsed it, and he was kind of surprised we didn't get it either. So we're going to look at that again, but as Scott said, they do have some funding available, and what we need to do on the Skyline Corridor isn't what they're calling a heavy lift. It should be relatively easy to do, so we are going to meet with them again and go through that. The harder lift is obviously the Greenwood Lake Turnpike, but that is still not, we could still get it done.
I rode my bike with the GoPro on it so that he could see what it's like to ride your bike along Greenwood Lake Turnpike from border to border.
Did you have the GoPro the right way?
What does it sound like when you're riding a bike and somebody hits that rumble strip?
I haven't heard
gotta
that.
think, man.
That's new. I haven't heard that yet, but
Yeah, that's got to be nerve-wracking.
Just,
Is this gonna be similar to the way they did it up in Ridgewood?
we're not sure exactly how it's going to be yet, but we're going to work. There's a couple different options. Depending upon the speed of the road, you have to have so much of a lane, and so it's not going to be exactly the same, but similar. There's a lot of things you can do with signage, with painting, with reworking intersections. But from our perspective, we want to get people across the street, and we want to get people up the street. I can't tell you how many times we're plowing down Skyline Drive, and there's people walking from the buses up to the shopping center, and it just, you know, I can't even tell you how much it bothers me to see people working up Erskine Road. Now, we have a water line that runs from Brookside Avenue down through behind, it's a road, but it's really a water line's in it, but it's a road, you can drive on it, and we can improve that. We can have people come out behind the, across the street from Dr. K's. So there's a couple different alternatives, and we showed them those, so we're gonna see where that goes. So that's the kind of the update on that.
This would increase the foot traffic in the middle of town and...
Yeah, I think, listen, we got a library that's there, we have the park and ride that's there. We're talking about the redevelopment of Skyline Drive, as you all know, and I think that...
So this all ties in
It all
together.
ties in together, and it makes a lot of sense to try and do that. I know we weren't successful. What was it, 13 we applied for the grant, or 14?
I thought we did for a
12,
couple years in a
12 and
row.
13.
Yeah, it
12 and
was-
13.
I remember.
But wasn't that sidewalk like $2 million or something,
It-
1.2,
it was-
something
It was something like that.
It was a
money.
crazy expensive
Yeah,
sidewalk.
yeah.
It was like the road
now we're
down on
talk-
Route 35, right? Down on the shore.
So we're looking at different alternatives, and it was a good meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Water?
Water
You asked
testing.
about water.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could review the water testing.
I was
for
going to bring the
public.
boxes of water testing, and I elected not to bring the boxes. I tried to get a summary of what we do, when, and how, and I think that anybody who wants to know what kind of water testing we do, you can go to Water Watch. It's available to anybody who's interested. You can go to Water Watch. But I'll try and give you the quick rundown, but there's rounds of all kinds of tests for different times. And as you're talking about water testing, you have to keep in mind that the DEP governs our water system, and they look at different things that affect different things. Remember, pH affects different chemicals in a different way. You have the chlorine, you have to worry about the lead and the copper. So there's a lot of different things but I'm going to run through the quick rundown of at least what we test, our monitoring schedule. And I can go into depth about all the other testing we do, but this is just the basic monitoring. Lead and copper, we're actually ahead of the curve. We're doing 40 samples every 6 months. Inorganics, we test one sample every 3 years. Radiologicals is, we're doing 18, and that's one sample every 6 years. Secondaries is one sample every 3 years. VOCs for federal is one sample every 3 years, the same thing with state. Certain kinds of inorganics are continuous, and we're due, again, one sample a year. Let's see. pH, obviously, we do every 2 weeks. Orthophosphates, we do every 2 weeks as well. Alkalinity, we do 6 samples every 6 months. pH and nitrates, they're all the same, every 6 samples every 6 months. Sodium, we test for. Nitrates, they're yearly. Let's see, sodium is quarterly. So if you go on the New Jersey website, this is your basic monitoring schedule for the Ringwood Water Department. In addition to that, you can also look for there, and you can look at the pages of other compounds that in different years and at different times, all the other chemicals that we test for that's required according to the DEP rules. Our pH, our temperature, our chlorine is tested every 2 minutes tied to our alarm system with the police department. So any point of entry water system where we have any kind of treatment, we've tied it in. So if something is out of whack, obviously every 10 minutes the alarm will go off to the police department. We have guys that go out on call 24/7. And why is that important? Well, lead and copper is something that we have gotten a little bit ahead of. We're a little bit before our schedule, because if you read what's going on in the water systems around all of New Jersey, lead and copper is a big thing. I mean, you see schools with water fountains taped up, and why does it matter about pH? Well, pH, the control of your pH in your water affects the copper and the lead different ways. And they target, we do 50 homes, 40 homes each round. I think this is our 3rd round this year we're in the process of. And what that does is, if you don't have your pH balanced at the right at the right settings, what's going to happen is it's going to eat away at some of those lead that was used for solder back when homes were built during a certain time period. So we have to submit these homes based upon when they were built and how they were built, and we have to get that to the DEP, and they approved that modeling plan. Our residents have been great. They've been working with us on the samples, and so far our samples have been terrific. We haven't had any hits coming back. And I think this is our 3rd. It might be our 2nd round, but I think it's our 3rd.
Scott, I just missed what you said. Go back. It's tested every 10 minutes, every 2 minutes, you said?
It's every 2 minutes, but the alarm will go off every 10 if it doesn't fit within the parameters. The analyzers and computers and all the point of entry where we treat this stuff from are tied to our police department alarm system.
Right,
I think we're adding something like a lye or a
Right.
real strong alkaline for that water treatment, so that your water isn't slightly acidic and leaches the pipes. But if you put too much of that lye in there, you have a big problem. You're sending down poison. So that's why you're testing that continuously, that mechanical part of it. As far as the actual sources, though, they get tested on whatever that schedule is, once a year for certain
Right.
compounds, once every 3 year for other sets of compounds.
Correct. And this is all in addition to all that stuff. I mean, you can go on, all these reports are different tests that we do, cyanide and mercury, other volatile organics, nitrate and nitrates, water quality parameters.
Residual chlorine,
Chlorine
byproducts.
is tested every 2 minutes as well. And this list, the list goes on and on. Lead and copper, you can tell it's semi-annually. We used to be triennially, we changed that. pH, alkalinity, and sodium. Trihalomethanes, sites 1 and sites 2. We actually go to sites to test to make sure that it's not just at our port of entries, but it's at different buildings throughout town. So, to answer your question easily, I would need a rather large spreadsheet, but if you go to Water Watch,
Got it.
you'll see all the testing that gets done and the period of time at which it gets done. And you can click through all those tabs and see all the analytical results. Anybody who really wants to know, NJ 1611002 is our number for our water system. So, but you could just put on Ringwood and it'll come up.
I don't mean to jump on Jamie's question, but so after you say all that, I mean, we understand it and stuff, but simply speaking, our wells are fine and not compromised, correct?
The wells are fine, they're not compromised. The water, actually, it's kind of funny. We got some calls a couple of weeks ago because our water had a different taste and a different odor to it. And I can tell you that our Beatty Lane well pump, one of the wires fried in the line, so it was down for a couple of days. And we had to get a new pump in, and we had to have a well pull the pump out, and we had to replace the wires, and so that takes. And then you have to, you have to flush it out, and you have to chlorinate it, and you have to test it, and then you have to let it sit for 24 hours. Then you have to do bacteria samples. So that well was down for a couple of days. Well, the people called because we were on 100% reservoir water. The reservoir water, when we're on 100% reservoir water, it tastes different and smells different. And our drinking water is really good water in town. And unfortunately, usually we blend with the reservoir. Like when we don't have enough, we produce 600 gallons a minute, and we need 800, so we only take 200, so you don't notice as much. When we're on 100% reservoir water, And I'm sorry, I know your dad worked for the reservoir for forever, but it's different water. It's not the same as our well water. So yes, our well water is clean,
So
great.
the well's not compromised. I'm glad you mentioned the alarm, the wells and everything.
Our
They're
water
well
guys
protected,
they do an awesome job.
and they're well protected, right?
Yep, they're all protected, and there's backup alarms, and there's duplications, and so addition to I guess the moral of the story is in addition to the required tests, there's other tests.
So in other words, we go above and beyond.
On the required tests, what's preventing us from doing it more frequently?
We do some things more frequently. There's some things that we do more frequently. There's some things that we don't. But keep in mind that some of the other tests, compounds in water, like anything else, they float together. And there's things that when you see this type of compound, you're going to see this type of compound, and that's kind of what happens in some of these situations. But we do go above and beyond.
And while you're talking about water, when we talk about the importance of what we just did, maintaining the towers, the water towers.
Oh, the water tanks, yeah, the infrastructure. We put a lot of money into our infrastructure and the water system over the last couple of years. And next year, I'm going to come to you and ask you for the next round of, we have Erskine tanks that we should probably look at too. Upper Ringwood tanks were done, Skyline Drive tank is done. I'm going to continually push our water system to be upgraded because it's something that's an asset, and it's something that clean water is important.
Scott, I have a couple of questions.
Did I answer? I don't know
Yeah,
that I
you did.
Okay.
No, you did. I was just.
What's going on with the walkway at the library? Is that complete yet? I haven't gotten a chance
Yeah,
to
the
get
walkway's complete. What we found with the bricks, first of all the weep holes for all the drainage underneath the bridge were clogged with almost like a lime. They're clogged, so the weep hole, so nothing drained out of it. It just kind of stood in there, and the bricks that had been engraved, I guess they had done it with a heat process, and they actually split in half horizontally and kind of decomposed. Some of them we,
Did they use sand with the cement or something, and that's why they...
you know, the pavers from 20 years ago are not the pavers from today. It's a very different process. And they were also the small pavers, which tend to move more. They weren't, they were run in a pattern that didn't interlock, so when they don't interlock, they tend to move a little bit more than others. So we took them all out, and we saved them. We preserved all the bricks. The library had made a decision that they were going to go with a virtual memorial instead of replacing the bricks, because it would have been so exorbitant to replace them all.
And I know they had it, because I was over there, and I took many bricks.
Yeah, you were there.
That I know.
Yeah.
And took them to the house. My car was way down. It would have been great in the winter time, so I wouldn't have slid on ice. But, and a lot of people took bricks, so it was, they really had it set up it was very organized.
Library did a great job of organizing who had what, and they had a pickup system that was, I kind of said to them when they told me they were going to do it, I said, well, yeah, are you sure you want to do that? And they...
Are there still bricks left that...
They gave them a week period where they were there, and they gave back a lot of bricks. I made a decision to take all the bricks to the Borough Garage, where if somebody called in 6 months or 2 months or whatever the case may be that says, I'm looking for my brick, we still have them. So we have about 40 people who have contacted us since then. If in fact you're looking for your brick and you haven't had a chance to pick it up, call the library, because the library is keeping a list, and because you would think it's easy that, you know, the Heck family bought a brick. Well, maybe they put on the brick, Jennifer, Renee, and whatever, and it's not under. So
Could be
they had
Heck
they had it
family, could
organized.
be-
So you have to go through them,
A lot of...
and they'll tell us what's on the brick, and
work.
we'll get it from our inventory. If it was one of the ones that didn't make it, we apologize, but most of them did. Most of them we kept even the pieces if they were broken.
Yeah, they said there was only a few that, weren't able to be salvaged, but the rest
Right.
of them...
Right.
My other question is there wiring being done at the
Now I
library?
know you were at the library. Yeah, the library, when it was originally designed, was never really designed for the community room that they have now. It just wasn't designed for, 20 years ago, they didn't do what they do today. Right now, they put the coffee pots on. They have to put them in different
Right,
parts of the
'cause it
building
blows.
because it blows breakers. They want to change some of their visual downstairs. So at sometime in the next month, we're probably going to do some upgrading of wiring and some, we're going to have to do that because they can't keep blowing breakers down there. So that's on our radar. So hopefully this month we'll get that taken care of. So.
Thank you. I have one last question.
Wow.
The funding, I know you've mentioned it several times, but the funding to pay for the website, for the Ringwood fax, could you discuss where that funding
Sure.
comes from?
Ringwoodfax.com is paid for from the trust fund, and that money is not from taxpayers' dollars. That money
Right.
came from, quite frankly, we put a damage claim against Ford for the damages that they bestowed upon our community. We settled that lawsuit, and we took that money and we tucked it away for just such a thing. It's sitting in a trust fund, and we felt that this is part of the damage, that the communication and people not knowing all the facts. So we tried to use that. We're using that funding. It's not from taxpayer dollars. It's not from the budget. I could tell you the exact line number, but I don't have it with me tonight. But it's definitely from a trust fund. So, but okay. Okay. So that's where it came from. I can give you the account number if you want.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
That's it. Okay.
You have anything left for a manager's report?
I'm not sure, but I'll skip
You
over
probably
anything
would
that
have
we
it in
covered
your-
already.
Wait, don't skip that.
No, I got to go to this one. Okay. First, we have a tolling agreement, and this is with the US EPA, and this is for the Upper Ringwood matter. As you know, EPA has asked us for a tolling agreement in the past where they can extend the time by which they can file an action against us for recovery of their costs. And Dick, correct me if I'm wrong here. And it expired, and they have once again contacted Ms. Monahan and asked for an extension again, so that this extension will give them until
December 20th.
December 29th, 2017, by which to file an action against us. we really don't have any option but to extend, otherwise you're just going to file the action now. So my recommendation is that we once again extend this. And I think when we extended it in the spring, I said, why don't we extend it longer? But this is what they wanted, so we went with what they wanted. So 2017, what number is this, Kel?
210.
210. I think this isn't in front of all of them?
No.
Oh, this isn't before you, okay.
No, because we just.
We just got this one, okay. This is whereas the Borough of Ringwood authorizing a tolling agreement with the U.S. EPA relative to the Upper Ringwood site, and whereas the time has expired on said agreement, now therefore be it resolved, the Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby authorizes permission to extend the tolling agreement through December 29, 2017, from the date of its initial termination, subject to no objections from the Carrier Council. We have to make sure the Carrier Council doesn't object, but I don't think they will. But this is just one of those things, and ordinarily you'd say, well, no, I'm not going to extend the time by which they can sue us, but all that's going to do is generate a suit. So.
Generate an immediate lawsuit.
It'll be
and a
immediate.
conversion of assets.
You're damned
and-
if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Exactly.
So my recommendation is that you support this.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yep.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Didn't leave me his number. Okay. Hey, Mark.
Hi. Passaic County and Ringwood does need open space, so is the state New Jersey, the state New Jersey farmland needs to be taken care of, and New Jersey Historic Society. This includes Ringwood and Passaic County, and the Board of Education New Jersey, and every school in Passaic County, Ringwood needs Board of Education.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Let's see. You guys kind of chopped up my report here, but okay. Paving update. All the roads have been paved and completed except for Beach Court, Birch Road, and Cupsaw Drive. Cupsaw Drive, obviously, the drainage is ongoing. And good night. Thanks. So those are the projects that are going on now. Beach Court and Birch Road. Beach Court, the drainage is complete. Birch Road, the drainage is currently being done, and since they're so close to each other, both roads will be paved together. Cupsaw Drive phases 6 and 7, drainage and paving from Carltondale Road to Westbrook Road. We received $309,994.76 from the New Jersey DOT grant for the project. The drainage installation began on September 11th. The project it will take approximately 3 months, but Cupsaw Drive will be fully complete when that's done. So hopefully after 3 months, and I know it's going to affect.
Pave in the spring?
No, we're hoping to pave it this fall. We're hoping to pave it this fall.
Haunted Hilly.
I know, it's probably the last year we're going to affect that, but I'm sure
Not
that the
gonna try to let it
residents would.
settle for the winter and then try paving?
I think they're paving this fall, but I'm not 100% sure. It probably depends on how the drainage goes.
Gotcha.
They're doing a really good job of compaction there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In case we can pave it this year. As I mentioned before, we applied for $390,000 for a DOT grant for 18. We talked about Erskine Road and Lakeview Avenue. We talked about Cupsaw Drive. We hired a contractor to do the painting the intersections and the crosswalks this year. We decided that we might get some thermal paint that'll last a couple more years. We're hoping that's going to start the first week of October. The latex paint, A, it's slippery in the winter, and B, it wears off after one season. So we went with that already. So we already talked about the library. Budget update, Jim's favorite part of the night. We're about 73% of the budget, about 5% under where we believe we should be based upon, I use payroll as a guide. And so currently our budget's $16,060,614. We've paid year-to-date or encumbered $10,933,647. So that includes things like garbage and things like that we've already anticipated. All the stuff we've encumbered for. Water operating budget is $980,600. We've paid or encumbered to date $660,772. So we're pretty much on line. The budgets are close, but I think we're going to be fine. think they're in your packet? No. Okay, I'll send it out.
Do we have any FEMA money still outstanding?
We don't have any FEMA money outstanding. They overpaid us, which we returned. We went through 3 or 4 rounds of closeout documents, and those closeout documents, I think that's all, at this point, they're all done. I'm going to go through some of the, fall sports have begun, football, kindergartnens, hockey, cheering, tennis, you name it, that's all begun. The adult sports has started with soccer, volleyball, women's volleyball, men's basketball. That's all starting to take place this fall. I'm not going to go through all the discount tickets. If you call Rec Department or go on the website, we have all kinds of discount tickets available to sports games, parks. I think they have plays this year, so whatever, you can call Rec for that. Our senior exercise classes have been successful and they're well attended. They're probably one of the better programs we have for the seniors in town. They love those sports programs. We have a new robotics program. Well, we don't really have a new program. We've partnered with the library, and the library is doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this. But Recreation and the library partnered to try to supplement the robotics program for the 7th and 8th graders to be held, and it's going to be held at the Ringwood Public Library this fall. The registration sold out, and we have a long waiting list, which is great to see. So that's something that's going to help our kids. So that's a new program that we've started. Really important for all the kids in sports. I know I'm a coach. I don't know how many other coaches are here, but concussion baseline testing. Anybody that's in any type of sport that has a child, whether it's hockey, whether it's football, whether it's soccer, please get your kids concussion baseline testing. We're partnering with the health department and Ringwood Rec, and they joined forces for a free concussion baseline testing by Overlook Medical Hospital for children's 12 and older. It's going to be at Ryerson Computer Lab Wednesday, September 27th. There are 2 sessions of testing to sign up for. You can do it on Community Pass, one at 6:30 and one at 7:15. I can't urge people enough to get their kids tested. We're always in need of coaches. Somebody came today and actually at the council meeting and gave us this. They said, if you haven't, before you complain, have you volunteered yet? We definitely need more coaches. We definitely need more help. There's never enough coaches to go around. So please, if you have the time, that'd be great. We had a great fireworks this year. Unfortunately, I was away, so I didn't get to see it, but I heard nothing but glowing reviews. I think it's the most attended one that we've had so far. Amy Jolin was awarded the Community Volunteer of the Year, and Tal Jones was awarded the Emergency Responder of the Year. They also raised money for the 50-50 for Ravoa, so whatever 50-50 they had went to Ravoa. I want to congratulate our Kayla and her team for putting that on. I think that it's been a great community event. Our water flushing begins on Monday, October 9th, so check the website for our schedule. As I do every year, I encourage everybody on the day that they're going to be flushed, if they turn off their valve inside of the house while we're flushing, what we do is we agitate the water back and forth to break off anything that's inside of the pipe. It's meant to do that, and then we flush any of the particles or rust or whatever is inside of there out, so that it just keeps the pipes clean and so forth. So if you draw water while we're doing that, you're going to get some of that brown water in the house. So I encourage everybody to turn it off. We also send out reverse 911s for the days that they're going to be doing the flushing, but that's coming up starting on October 9th. At all of your places tonight are some signs, and I see Neil has joined us here this evening. The Ringwood Chamber of Commerce had, at one of our meetings, John, that we had with the chamber here, they have proposed a new Welcome to Ringwood sign. For those, I don't know if Tracy, if you can see this or not, but the Chamber of Commerce has proposed a Welcome to Ringwood sign. They would like to as long as we're sprucing up our community, and they asked if we would partner on these signs, and it's taken us a little bit of time, but we are in the process of doing a purchase order so that we can get these signs, and the chamber has been gracious enough to donate some of the funding to get these signs done. And so this is a new addition that's coming. We talked about it through the budget process, but hold it.
Hold it back
Hold it
up.
up. Okay. Sorry. Sound from the back room.
The Wizard of Oz behind the curtain.
So the front of the sign's going to say, Welcome Ringwood, that's coming in, and then on the back is going to say, Keep Ringwood clean and green. And then in some of the smaller areas, there's going to be another sign for where you're entering. We don't have quite room for the large signs, and that's going to be the sign for the smaller. I think the Chamber is the one who designed this. I think they did a great job. I think that they came to me with the proposal, and I don't deserve the credit. They really do. I think you guys did a great job, and we're going to move forward on your program and get
Scott, I
these
have a
things done.
question.
Yes.
On the sign, welcome to Ringwood, settled in.
I'm sorry.
The second one,
Second one.
Third one.
third one.
Front of the small one?
Yeah, we'll probably change that to founded, but we'll work on all that. So that's just minor graphic changes. So we haven't signed off on all the artwork, but the Chamber, I got to tell you,
Just making sure.
did all the legwork. I just wanted to show you kind of what it looked like. I know we've talked about it, but I didn't really show you what the signs were. You saw them because you were at the Chamber meeting, but so anyway, so Neil, that's moving forward. So please let your people know. And we were earlier this evening. We did an amendment to the sign ordinance, that I talked to you about. So that we'll have a public hearing on in November. So thank you for contributing the funding to help get those signs taken care of. Let's see.
Scott, I don't know if you mentioned it, but not only did we have the Ringwood fireworks, but you had the Ringwood Fair that Saturday also, which was pretty nice.
Okay. I was away, so I'm sorry I missed it all.
No,
So.
the one with you were there.
A few weeks back.
A few weeks back.
August 3rd.
Oh, you're talking about the kids for
Yeah.
the
Yes.
in the summer.
Splash.
Yeah. The summer splash or whatever it was. Yeah, that was a good program for the kids.
That was a good program. The kids
I was surprised
seemed
at how
like they had
many-
a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many people signed up. I think they had 175.
We had a
sign up.
great time.
Yeah, little Spider-Man was running around there.
I tried to get Bill to go down the slide. He wouldn't do it.
No, I just,
So
Kids were getting drenched and just running around.
and we didn't hit any sprinkler lines with the posts that they put in the ground to hold all those bouncy houses down. So other than let's say I already took care of that. I think that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
All right.
wow.
It's a little disjointed because we covered some of it.
There being no questions for the manager, we will move right on into attorney's report. Counselor?
Well, I have some executive session matters, sorry to tell you, okay? One of them will be the matter of North Jersey District Water Supply Commission versus Ringwood and Wanacue. That's the tax appeals. These tax appeals have been going on for about we've been in litigation for approximately 6 years with the Water District. As you know, they're our largest property owner and our largest taxpayer. Because of changes in value of property, largely due to the Highlands regulations, the district has taken the position and submitted appraisals supporting their contention that the assessment does not equal the value of the lands. Our assessor has also done an analysis. The parties have met on numerous occasions. Our last meeting was about a month ago, as directed by the tax court judge. We're trying to arrive at a reasonable solution of this issue. There have been proposals and counter-proposals, and I'd like to discuss them with you in executive session. We have to report to the tax court judge in a short time. Otherwise, the judge will set this down for trial, and that's going to require us to retain further appraisals and further significant expenses. However, if this matter can be resolved fairly in accordance with law, then we'll certainly make an effort. And I think the Water District is also trying to make an effort to fairly resolve it. So I'd like to discuss that in executive session.
You
But
know,
also-
Counsel, not to cut you off, but it's quite ironic that the Highlands legislation puts us as the protectors of the water, but those who we're protecting now want further benefit by reducing their taxes. My offer would be charge them more taxes to make up for the tax base that was depleted by the Highlands legislation. I mean, and that was evidently invited by this council when Mayor Tall was the mayor, okay, without any negotiation on behalf of Ringwood to get some kind of financial benefit back. I mean, thank God that we're presently trying to work with our state legislators to get some kind of financial, not reimbursement, but some financial help to help with our tax base. It's just, it's just aggravating, to use a term, that this is happening right now. It's one of the major issues facing the town, the depletion of our tax base, which was invited by, our Democratic mayor, just like our Superfund site was invited by one of our Democratic mayors. So, go ahead, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's just, it's just an irony of what they're trying to do.
Okay, the second matter I have is on our in rem foreclosure action. I'd like to discuss matters pertaining to Block 508, Lots 2 and 2.29. There are some Highlands issues respecting that particular property. I'd like to discuss that also in executive session. A third item I'd like to report on, but I don't think we have to have an executive session on it, is the affordable housing suit. As you know, we're trying an innovative approach to develop the Skyline corridor with the shopping centers via the route of redevelopment, because under the Highlands law, we have very few acres in our whole municipality that can be developed. And I think we all agree that the shopping centers have stagnated. There's no movement in them, so we're trying to come up with an innovative approach, as was explained at the last meeting by Mr. Dunn, the planning board attorney, in his presentation. As you know, part of that innovative approach would be to provide for housing, for apartment housing, for market houses, and for affordable housing under the law, because we're in an affordable housing lawsuit, okay? And to provide for a mixed use, a creative mixed use of those properties. We're not doing it. We're not going to have the redevelopment agency, but we want to create incentives for the property owners, the present ones or perhaps future property owners, where they will see that there are advantages to use our prospective zoning, where they can make a profit, which we're all for, and at the same time benefit the municipality with diverse housing, with more retail space, perhaps more creative retail space, rather than the old 1950s strip mall, with the parking lot and the building, and that's about it. So what we're doing is, the council at the last meeting authorized the manager and Mr. Dunn and I to proceed to get the requisite studies, proceed before the Highlands Council, because we have to get their permission. And we also need the DEP's permission to engage in this development. This is not going to be easy. The Highlands restrictions are severe, and you have to have a lot of positive data, studies, and information to satisfy the Highlands Council that you will not undo the purposes of the Highlands legislation, which is to restrict development except in unique circumstances. Okay, and we think we are the unique circumstance. Again, there are very few areas of this municipality that we can develop creatively, innovatively, and not have just the same existing on Skyline Drive forever. This is our chance, okay? So I just wanted to advise you that Mr. Dunn has started on the work. We will probably be meeting informally with the Highlands staffs in the next few months to try to keep this project going. Of course, we'll regularly report back to the council, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right.
Want to do a
I'll do a resolution. Resolve that the municipal council into executive session to discuss the following matter: North Jersey District Water Supply Commission versus Ringwood litigation, in rem foreclosure action, more specifically with reference to Block 508, Lots 2 and 2.9. Be further resolved that minutes of the meeting be maintained and be available to the public upon conclusion of the matters. The public is advised that the municipal council, upon returning from executive session, may take action on any matter discussed therein, or it may take action on any other matter.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
Mr. Heck, is there any Upper Ringwood issues we have to talk about in executive session?
I don't have any this evening.
Okay. All right, very good.
So moved.
Motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Mayor Spear.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci.
Yes.
Councilmembers Davison.
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Marsala.
Yes.
Noonan.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Okay, we'll hold off going on executive session. We'll go around the table once. Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yeah, the Ringwood Ambulance Auxiliary is holding a fish and chips dinner this Friday at the ambulance building. Tickets are $15. We'd like to have them ordered beforehand. You can call 973-962-7978 for tickets. The hours are 5 to 6 to take out and 5:30 to 7:30 to eat in. And regarding volunteers, we have many volunteers in this town. People that have volunteered practically their whole life that they lived here. We have young people that clean the roads. We have senior citizens that help out at the libraries. We have people, I'm involved with the WARE. I'm also been on the ambulance auxiliary for 29 years. So there's many activities that you can, there's a lot of rec, people, and, this is a town full of volunteers, and the more the merrier. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Schaefer? Councilman Noonan?
The fireworks were great. What a great turnout. It was good to see so many from the community there. I really enjoyed it the evening. And continued success to Lakeland Field Hockey.
Yeah.
Having a good season.
Thank you. Councilman Marsala?
Progress. No, but just one quick thing, to build on what Linda said, at the Ringwood fireworks, one thing I noticed was all the young people that the ambulance corps had
Yes,
as
the
cadets
cadet.
was amazing.
Yeah.
It really was. And I just want to mention, seen him here. Is he still here? Doug? Saturday I was driving, I seen these cones on Skyline Drive, and was like, we're doing work, or what's going on? And then I realized, I seen Doug Roussillon and his crew, a bunch of volunteers cleaning up Skyline Drive and stuff. I just think it's great. I don't know if it's a formal group, not a formal group, whatever it is, these people took their own initiative to go out and just contribute to the community. So I just want to give them the shout out, and I think it's great. I just, no matter what the stance or whatever, you should not ever discredit anyone or in their enthusiasm, and it's just just making the town that much better. So it's great to see the young volunteers at the ambulance corps, great to see these young people out cleaning up the town. It's just the type of community we have. But that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Davis?
No report, sir.
Very good. Councilwoman?
Not to belabor a point, but yeah, I agree. We, on any given weekend, when you're up in Ringwood at any of the fields, there are just so many people dedicating so much time to our children happy running around soccer fields, and and that is made possible because of the spirit of the volunteers in this town. And the firework night was really a special way to honor everybody and how hard they work for our community. And I will say this, our fireworks rival any town's fireworks. These are some really good fireworks. They are, they're wonderful. The finale was spectacular. There were actually people asking on social media if people had videos of it because people's phones had died. And so they were upset that they didn't get the video. It was spectacular.
Tracy video. It's on Channel 77.
There you go. All right.
And Tracy was there with a camera.
All right,
And,
Tracy. Yay.
Right, the fireworks were great. And when Scott said he was bringing them back, at first I thought I was a little scared. I thought he was going to be out there in a rowboat with a Roman candle. But it's really good that we brought that back with the addition of the summer splash. So, the rec department, our rec department is great, and we've added so many days to celebrate the community and celebrate the town, and they just do a great job.
I will just add that the DPW the next day The part that you guys don't see is the setup and the tear down. The DPW the next day are there. They clean that entire park, stem to stern. The whole place is cleaned, picked up, taken away. We don't leave anything left behind for the park to have to deal with. Because fireworks it leaves a mess, and so I just want to thank them for doing what they do too.
Yeah, I've also said, hands down, our DPW rivals any town in the state of New Jersey. I would put them up against any crew. So, and Doug, kudos to you guys too. It's some of the roads you work on are pretty scary, and cars are whizzing by. And
Yeah, just be careful.
Yeah,
Make sure you take proper precautions.
You guys care about us, the drivers don't.
no, people are flying by, and that's scary. And some of those roads are,
Hope they're all wearing the vests again.
Yeah, just wear your vest and all that stuff. Just be careful. All right.
And I even like that you guys did the child-friendly cleanups. Those are fun too, in areas where, kids are able to participate too. It's,
Some young to clean up their
absolutely,
mess.
it's a nice, yeah. No reason to not clean up your mess, so, good job.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Deputy Mayor?
I just have two things. One, a resident asked me a question. When a road is paved, then out of clear blue sky, 2 weeks later, PSG comes and digs it up. Can we force them not just to patch a little spot, but to pave the whole section and blend it in?
Well, we've been working with them. Yeah, unfortunately, we give them notice 8 months in advance of, I think Cupso Drive, I think they dug up the day after it was paved. I don't think it was cold yet. We've been making them go back with infrared and patch it so it looks seamless. You still see that there's a patch there, but it's more seamless. And they've been cooperating on that regard. But listen, they were coming with backhoes that they were going to pave across the street from your house. And I said, what are you doing? You got to get there today because somebody wanted a service. I said, no, you're not digging up our road again. So it's problematic. But
What about the road leading to the recycling center, Orange and Rockland?
they're going to pave the everything.
Pave that whole
yeah,
thing?
The whole thing's getting paved. Yeah.
Because we had just paved it 3 years ago.
Correct. Yep. That was part of the agreement. They're going to have to pave it. So, but anyway, so we try to get them to infrared if we can. Sometimes we don't know about it until we drive over it and we see it. But they do get permits, but they get like yearly permits. So.
Second question I got, is there a way that we can do, or maybe we're doing it, senior citizen shuttle bus to one of the shopping centers or to the Stop and Shop or something like that?
We did that many years ago, and it didn't work out all that well. We once before did a senior, we had a school bus that picked up the seniors and took them. Passaic County Paratransit and Passaic County does a pretty good job of that. And I think that we don't have the type of community that enough people are going in the same direction to make that really work well.
Oh, you don't give them a choice, you just say, we're going to Stop and Shop in Wanacue, or going to Palm Lakes, or...
I mean, we can ask the seniors and see if they'd partake in something like that. It's something that we did try. I don't remember, were you mayor, or I'm not sure. I was Alan Vanek.
No,
was mayor.
Alan.
Yeah.
But
We
it worked
surveyed.
for a while, but then it petered out. People, they didn't, there was certain times and they weren't ready at that time.
Well, a lot of our seniors drive today. It's
Yeah.
not like it used to be. But why don't we? We'll ask the seniors. I know we have a great senior coordinator here, so we'll ask and see if it's something that makes sense. We'll do that. So.
What about even maybe like setting up a buddy program or something, if there isn't enough, aren't enough people that would want or able to hop on a bus, but maybe a buddy program, like I'm a teacher and I'm not working in the summer, maybe there is somebody who's not driving in the community and I would love to go pick them up and take them food shopping and bring them home. Like even something like that where people
that.
can kind of
We are-
volunteer and,
We are looking into, for winter, for snow plowing and leaf services, to doing exactly that same thing where you can sign up for someone to come help you do that kind of stuff.
that's awesome.
Because some of the seniors, they can't shovel, they can't.
get out.
And we, the Boy Scouts are great, and I forget the gentleman's name that left earlier. He's the one that actually brought me the program.
Paul Rebecca.
Paul
Rabacki.
Rabacki. And he had, with his group, goes out and does a lot of these things. So we would like to expand on that, because there's a lot of seniors that if we got a lot of snow, they're homebound. We got to make sure they can get out. So seniors, handicapped, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. We will go into executive session. Thank you.
Give me a number. Like, I don't know
You
how
can
much
shut
call.
the mics off. Yeah, I have mine.